Tall, slender, with a quiet strength that life has weathered into his frame, Malam Manga stands outside his compound in Faratu Bojankunda, just 45 kilometers east of the capital Banjul. His eyes scan the horizon, not for answers, but perhaps for peace. His home is modest, cement walls dulled by time, rust-colored patches creeping where paint has surrendered. In this quiet place, under the shadow of mango trees, stories live in silence. But one story refused to be forgotten. A few years ago, Marlon sold the most valuable thing his family owned, ancestral land passed down through generations. It was worth over 300,000 dalasis, nearly $4,000. The money wasn't for a business. It wasn't for a house. It was to fund his younger brother's journey across the Sahara, through Libya and into Europe. But the dream ended long before the destination.
I sold my land, a plot of land 20 by 20. I sold it almost around 300,000. So $300,000. I sell it $300,000. Then I sponsor him from here to going to Italy. But at the end, he didn't make it because sometimes you can spend a lot of money. At the end, the pass will not even reach where he is even going. He didn't make it at the end.
Malang's heartbreak echoes in villages and towns across the Gambia. Parents, siblings, even communities give up land, cattle, gold jewelry, selling pieces of their lives to fund journeys of loved ones to Europe. These sacrifices are born out of love, but often end in loss. And Malang is not alone. In 2017, Buba Sedikan from the West Coast region attempted the deadly Mediterranean crossing not once, but 3 times.
So I tried the boat 3 times. The money we paid is around $45,000 per trip. So 45 times 3 through the boat, where through when at the sea, I think it's around 45 times 3. If you calculate, it's going to be around something $1,000. That's what I spent. Yeah, I spent more than 100,000 in this journey because Mutene also, if you add it there, I can say more than $200,000 is we spent.
According to the International Organization for Migration, IOM, Gambians spent millions of dollars on irregular journeys between 2015 and 2019. Across West Africa, the annual figure is upwards of $150 million. Globally, migrants from low-income countries spend over $1 billion on risky routes, many of which end in detention centers, deportation flights, or unmarked graves.
In the desert is the biggest and the deadliest place for us, the migrants, to speaking, because I see one of my friends in Banyu. We are staying in Banyu. He have died in the desert. When my friend died, we told the Arab man that we want to bury this person. He was like, if you go down, I'm going to leave you guys. So the only thing we can do is we have to throw the person down there and just move. Seeing your friend, you only throw the person, the body there and just go, is something that's really giving us a big trauma, give us sleepless night and all that.
But what drives so many to risk everything? What makes a young man sell a family cow or a woman trade gold bangles inherited from her grandmother?
Many people in the Gambia facing a lot of economic hardships, unemployment, and limited opportunities in general. Very often tempted by the promise of fake success stories in Europe. Very often curated to portray Europe as the place for success on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, and WhatsApp these days.
Demba Kande, former digital media lecturer at the University of the Gambia, says the curated realities online are wrapping expectations back home.
Gambia is such a small country. If you have few people posting about quote-unquote their success stories in Europe, and they can reach hundreds, if not thousands of people in the Gambia. So that alone influences people to want to risk even more, selling their valued assets, lands, animals like cows, cars, just to do whatever it takes. Sometimes peer pressure as well, and the fear of missing out. One person succeeds or claims to have succeeded, through their social circles. It pressures a lot of other people to want to go there. So why can't I make it? If he can, why not me? That forces a lot of young Gambians to sell their lands, their livestock, and family assets.
In Germany, Yaya Sonko, a long-time Gambian migrant activist, spends his days supporting those who made it and those who barely surviving. Over a decade working with Gambians in Europe, Yaya has seen both the victories and the ruined.
So if you are in Libya now, the next is to pay a boat to cross to Europe, either Lampedusa or Zaragoza, that is, or Sicily. These are all places where usually boats will reach or rescue teams will be coming from. So to cross the Mediterranean Sea, to pay a boat, in those days, from 2012 to 2016 to 2017, people are paying nothing less than 30,000 Gambian dollars. Some would pay 35,000, in fact.
But Yaya says the costs involved in these journeys are enormous.
You go up to the middle of nowhere, your car gets spoiled or destroyed or whatsoever, or even been kidnapped. Sometimes some people will start a journey, you go up to the middle of nowhere, and then the driver will sell you to another agent. And that agent will ask you another more money, so it's just trafficking. They abuse us, take advantage of us. Sometimes you will even pay them. They go and hide you somewhere else, and then after say that, police are controlling, police control us, or police are ahead of us. If we don't do this and A, B, D, and Z, they will do this and this and that to us. So you will pay another more money again. So it's always very expensive.
Gambia's youth unemployment rate remains one of the highest in West Africa, with over 40% of the population under 25 and limited economic opportunities. The dream of Europe continues to outshine the struggle at home. According to Mustafa Sonko, a migration expert and a youth advocate, there are alternatives to these problems.
There are solutions to this, because when you take at migration, the reasons why people migrate, you look at the theories of migration. One of the theory is the dual labor theory, that tells you that migration will continue to happen as far as you have cheap labor in Europe, the labor that the Europeans will not be able to do or are not willing to do. Therefore, those in the global south will actually migrate. Another theory of migration posits that migration will continue. That is the new economies of labor migration, that migration will continue because of wage differentials, unless and until that the structural problems are actually solved, that the wage differential is solved, and a lot of young people have jobs in this country. Let's say the Spain-Gambian bilateral agreement on labor. Let's say, for example, if there is a lot of investment in agriculture where young people are employed and are paid decent money, it will minimize the number of people that leave this country. That is part of the reason. And then I think there is that act of civil or loyalty that need to be injected into the young people of our country. When all these are done, it will be easier for the young people to actually excel. Not all the young people who leave this country leave so because they don't have jobs. No, they have jobs, and then the jobs are not paying, and they believe that their counterparts in Europe are doing far better than what they are doing, the societal problems.
Social media and digital expert Kande highlights some of the solutions to the influence of social media.
What I would think of is, how do we tweak the solutions to be positive, so that there's positive solution, a positive influence rather, of social media on irregular migration in the Gambia? We have seen a few of those where INGOs, would sponsor a few detainees and sell their stories. That's a good approach, but we must go beyond selling just stories of successful retainees or retainees who have succeeded in the small businesses. I think it will be important to go further and think beyond those small projects, but also inject more information in terms of really the challenges that our people face when they get to Europe. You try, you fail, you come back, they give you a grant, and then and now they think that you can succeed. Then in itself becomes a post factor, because then I will want, before I can, because some of those grants are reserved exclusively for retirees. So essentially, you're trying to solve a problem that you're almost always creating, because you're forcing me to first, quote unquote, attempt the regular migration route before I qualify for any financial support. And as you know, the biggest push factor for these young people is economic hardships, unemployment, and lack of job prospects in the Gambia. So if you provide economic incentives and link them to returnee programs, then essentially it's like the egg and the chicken, which one came first?
Experts say it's time to change the narrative, not by silencing social media, but by using it wisely. They recommended strengthening digital literacy, especially among young people, so they can spot fake news and misleading content online. Local influencers, returnees, and youth leaders can also play a powerful role by sharing honest stories, promoting homegrown opportunities, and reminding others that not every path to success lies across the sea. At the national level, calls are growing for investment in job creation, skills training, and entrepreneurship support, so that the choice isn't between Europe or nothing, but between Europe or something right here at home. In the end, the solution may not lie in stopping the dream, but in reshaping it into something real, something grounded, and something Gambian.
President Adama Barrow, lawyer Usainu Dabo, multi yalanko, jenke karalale.
Back in Farato, Malang leans against the wall of his house. The land he sold is gone. The brother he tried to help, back home where he began.
If I have known that, if I spend all this money, the person will not make it, I would have used the money to another issues, which is more useful also. Sometimes, I feel it because it was a lot of money, 300,000. If you holiday or do some business, maybe you can make it, than using it to this power.
Bubatu has regrets, but he's found a new mission.
I came back to my community because I said that, okay, these village people are the one who always encourage themselves to go to back because they have a lot of activities to do. So from there, I bring them on board. I form a football team. I say, okay, this football team, I'm going to use this football team to change their lifestyle, to change them, because we're going to do only football while you don't have the skills. I tell them, don't go to back, but I'm going to give you skills. So that's how I start to train your ones. I said, okay, the society makes sure they push us away. So I said, okay, I'm going to set a sample in this. I'm going to make first backway skill academy in this country. And I'm going to make sure I train your one before 5 years. I'm going to train around 500 to 600 youths with these skills, and I discourage them. And that's the process we are. We based on painting, wallpaper installation, wall panel installation, basic IT, and now we move to recycling. Like the chair you are sitting, they are all tires and all that. I said, okay, I'm going to bring this thing together and I will recycle them. I do not have money to buy the bigger machine and all that, but I'm going to make them. I recycle them with my power, with my knowledge and the innovative things I'm doing.
According to experts, if the story doesn't change, neither will the journey and the prize. It will keep being paid, not just in money, but in lives, in memories, in heartbreaks. This radio feature was produced by me, Sankule Janko, and Esaba, with the support of the Informal Project funded by the European Union.